Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Legends of the Verse. This is episode 1, season 1 of Legends of the Verse, with some familiar faces and some new faces. And I am really excited. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a good time. This is going to be something that should be exactly the way D&D should be is just good old-fashioned fun, some smiles, some laughs, and for some reason landing on Earth, at least for a bit of time. We have, once again, our sponsor with Mage Press, sponsoring us for Legends of the Verse with their Dark Matter supplementary guidebook. You can scroll down into the doobly-doo on Twitch and find their link there with the primary icon for their collector's edition book. Or if you're on YouTube, you can go down into the doobly-doo and find the link in the description below there. With that, this is a pre-recorded episode. It will be back up. It will be live on Twitch tomorrow afternoon, and it will be live on YouTube Wednesday. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's tell a sci-fi story. Because why not? Our crew has quite an interesting backstory. And when we came together for session 0, talked about our characters and met everyone, we built a nice little web of lies. Although it's not really a web of lies, it's a web of connecting things. You see that? Look at that. Look at that. That's a nice little web of connecting things. Holy crap. I dropped a small knife. So for a little background of our characters. Whisk is a low worlder, Tabaxi, born on a planet whose current greatest technological achievement are bows, arrows, and some simple leather clothing and the like. Yes, that includes fire, just in case we're wondering. He was picked up, well, not really picked up, but stowed away on an Avira ship. And for those of you who'd like to know more about the Avira than the current little tidbit, again, go down below, use discount code DamageSpaceDice, and get 15% off, and you too purchase the Dark Matter book. But the Avira are a race of bird people with some very lovely Egyptian themes. To where they worship the star above, or the great sun. And Whisk stowed away on their ship. And it's there, with the help of Ash, was able to survive and not be thrown out an airlock as a stowaway. Along their travels, as they went from station to station, spreading their faith, and taking care of a few tidbits, their ship came across a stasis pod, where they met EV-003, a Vect Circle of Configuration Druid, which is a very nice subclass of Druid, which I'm sure you'll all enjoy quite a lot, along with the Star Warlock. Both are very fun, interesting subclasses. The three of them making rather fast friends and trying to keep Whisk and Evie out of trouble. Ash, finding herself a bit more of a stressful time trying to keep things together, managed to calm a young halfling of the stars, an alchemist, stationed in her family's hotel on a hearth station, which is one of the many stations that halflings call home. With a rough encounter and checking out what supplies that she was bringing home, Whisk, well, found it a smart idea to follow them to see what exactly it is they brew in the Silver Thread Hotel. It was there, as Callie came in, her charge and friend, Skitter, a mouse folk futurist and gadgeteer, both of them working together to create some interesting things and improving Callie's bombs and Skitter's own technological advancements. Skitter found the tabaxi to be rather intimidating, as he was more, in Skitter's eyes, cat-like than he expected a tabaxi to be. Drew a gun and kept him at blaster point as he ran away and created a defensive position in a hotel room. As time went on, the crew came together to collect a nice little object for the head of the station. The Hearth Cauldron. A rather ancient artifact created by the halflings. Many of them exist throughout the verse, each owned by a well-to-do and highly influential halfling family. This is where it's believed the original idea for the replicators came to be, are these cauldrons. Except the replicators can never get the quality of food or the flavor, density, lightness, airiness, fluffiness that these cauldrons can do in terms of food. And so, Callie's family, particularly Callie, was asked by this individual to look into it. And then Ash, Whisk, and Evie were actually listening in on that conversation, and while Callie was a little less forthcoming, her Aunt Melinda absolutely was. And requested that the three of them should find this cauldron so that her family can be elevated to that of the station's heads. After a bit of time, coming across a band of Kenkus in your discoveries and a few automatons blasted and shot out of the way, you guys return the cauldron. Enjoyed a feast. One so impressive that it eventually did knock each and every one of you out, even Evie as well, which was a rather difficult task to knock out the Vect. It was there you all woke up inside of an escape pod, drifting in the void, in the black, for however long anyone knows, making your way towards a hobgoblin star system. Luckily, you were picked up by two rather interesting individuals. An old, codgerly old man named Merlin, and a rather elegant and beautiful-looking half-elven woman, or elven woman, never really said, but insisted she was of elven blood by the name of Morgana. The two of them hiring you all on for a little task and offering to be your sponsors for the future and even give you access to your own ship, as long as you agreed to do a job for them. Now, it took a bit of convincing, as they requested you head to Earth in the Sol system. Some of you took pause, as your memory of the star systems being quite good, you know the Sol system is deep in a dead magic zone, and has been since the split between the hegemony of man and Lakshay at the hands of the Orc Warhorde and their arcane warheads. Agreeing to, though apprehensive, you all make your way towards the Sol System, fending off some pirate attacks and people who seem to know of this weapon that Merlin intends to bring back. A sword known as Excalibur 1.0. A more futuristic version of a longsword, which he still has in his pocket. One that he insists is designed to choose the next leader of Earth, someone who can bring them to the fold of the rest of the verse. Although his description of how it would choose somebody seems a little suspect. There being some woman who he insists needs to drown, die, and then be brought back to life to hand this sword out to somebody in some lake somewhere. At least a lake that has populace around it, potentially. And lastly, before things came to a head, Ash tried her very first cookie. Quite possibly the greatest cookie to ever exist in the history of cookie kind. And then all shared a nice meal. As you did, the ship making its way towards the edge of the dead magic zone before you make the travel through it off to the Sol System. Red alert sounded, and all hell broke loose as the ship's AI, Pendragon, began shouting that he was taking you all in to the dead magic zone. Which is where we begin. As the alerts are going live and hot, what are you guys doing as you are in the dining hall on this Shogun-class ship?
Well, very simply, I start holding on to my chair.
Okay. Callie, you grip hold of your chair as you feel... You hear impact, starboard side. Minimal damage. Ship still functioning.
So at this point, I think it would be wrong to assume that it's, we hold on to our butts.
Yes. Yes, I would think so.
Well, what hit us?
You hear Pendragon, do you really want to know? Or would you rather keep your sanity?
Okay. That question... Yeah, no, whatever. Okay.
We are under attack, as you know, and it appears to be Rothian.
That's not gonna make me insane. I know Rothians are assholes.
I do require some assistance on the bridge.
Oh boy.
They
knows how to
are...
fight?
Gonna walk to the bridge.
I mean, you
Walk to
take
the
your
bridge.
gun, you point it.
No, I think we're using the ship. to
Then
fight-
wouldn't the
to fight.
correct way to say that be fight with ships?
Yes, I would at least like the help in escaping these two Umbra fighters.
Hmm.
If one of you can man the guns before we enter the dead magic zone.
I
Callie
can
would
do
go to
that.
follow after Ash.
Following after
I
Ash.
can do that.
Okay.
Evie would follow as well.
Evie following as well. Okay. As you guys make your way up towards the bridge at a pretty decent speed, you hear as another impact hits. Minimal damage. Current hull points 74.
Hmm.
They have broken through our shields. As you guys get to the bridge, Skitter, what station do you take?
What stations are there?
Full
This
stations.
is standard,
You stand
standard ship combat.
standard ship combat, brother.
I'll probably take engineering then.
Engineering. You get to the engineering station. What would you like to do while there?
Damn it, DD. We've got to need this and I can forget all the rules. Give me 1 sec.
I got you covered. I got it open, brother.
And I didn't have the file open because I'm unprepared and I'm probably going to go.
It's okay. It's okay. Let me see. I got
Oh,
you.
whoop.
Ooh,
There goes Whisk.
we're good.
And he's gone. And he's back.
Maybe.
Oh, yes.
There he is.
Are the shields on? I know I'm responsible for shields.
The shields are not. The shields have actually been disabled. You do have the ability as an engineer to, I believe, recharge the ship's engine.
Okay,
Or,
I have
shields.
thing open now. I can. Okay, I have it open now. Okay, engineer. Okay.
You can direct power.
No. That involves turning off the shields.
Excuse me.
Once we get to the bridge, are we able to see the ships?
You
that are
do
firing?
see them pulled up on the main display. There are 2 Umber-class Rothian fighters behind you, guys. And the 2 gunnery stations are open and ready for seating.
Okay. Okay. Well, since the shields are already down, I might as well divert power.
Okay, and you're diverting power to the shields?
Okay. Well, no, because the way you direct power in this is you direct power away from the.
Good point. Yes.
Since the shields are already down, so. We're trying to escape, yeah?
You are trying to escape.
Make us go fast.
I will direct power from the shields into the engines.
Alrighty.
Which increases our speed by 50% until the beginning of our next turn.
So you have 7,500 feet of impulse maneuverability. Okay. Good to know. As the Umbra-class ships are closing, who would like to go next?
Whisk would like to pilot the ship.
Would like to set into the pilot seat. Easy enough.
Yes.
Whisk, as you jump down into the pilot seat, you hear command transferring.
I'll be back. I have
Over.
My
Yep.
food's done cooking. I have to go take it off so it doesn't burn.
Command transferring to Whisk. As Whisk, you have the pilot seat. You can move. You can do evasive maneuvers. You can attempt a dogfighting maneuver. You could do a hard turn. You could match speed. You wouldn't be able to ram. Dogfighting will have you do basically a flip. I forget the actual combat maneuver. I forget the actual air combat maneuver, but you can basically either do a full 180 flip over, or just Jake break, pop over, and get behind them. At least one of them. Or you can continue flying. Oh.
I would like to do evasive maneuvers, please.
Evasive maneuvers, alrighty. So, evasive maneuvers, and when you do so, on your next turn, the ship gains a bonus +4 to the armor class, and the pilot has advantage on dex saving throws. Excellent. So as you begin pulling evasive maneuvers with the ship rolling and sliding and trying to shake them off your tail, the ship's armor class goes up to 19. Very nice. Okay. Who would like to go next?
see what's behind us?
You can. It is on the forward display. It is tracking currently what's at the rear.
Would I be able to cast a spell?
Unfortunately not. You fortunately do not have an arcane cannon to cast a spell out of. You do have, however, 3 pulse cannons, 1 at the rear, 2 at the front, and 3 light cannons, 2 at the rear, 1 at the front.
I guess I will go to pilot one of the cannons at the rear.
Okay. You actually get, so if you want to choose the light cannon battery, or if you want to choose the pulse cannon battery.
Pulse.
Pulse cannon. All right. So as you slide into the pulse cannon seat, you see all 3 cannons light up. Your left panel showing and reading the 2 forward cannons, and the right panel showing the rear cannon. As you go and attempt a target lock, go ahead and you can actually open the Shogun ship in the character block there, and head over to character sheet, and you can make an attack roll with a +6. Actually, I'm sorry, that's the base attack roll. It is whatever your dex modifier and proficiency is. So if you want to make a standard weapon attack roll on your sheet, solid +4 to hit.
Just a regular.
Yep, so go ahead and roll 1d20. So it'll be /R 1d20 +4. Oh, 22. You target lock into the Umbra with ease, as Whisk's movements do not shake you at all. You are a Vect. Your mind is clear. You're targeting dead accurate as you time it as Whisk kind of goes almost full vertical and fire off a pulse round. Roll 3d8, and it will deal mega damage, which means you will deal that many points. Oh, shit! As you roll into it and fire off, you impact right into the front of the Umbra's cockpit. And as it does, the pulse cannon's radiant energy melts away the cockpit, and all that's left are 2 engine wings that detonate as you have just annihilated one with relative ease.
So, can I go next?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to cast a mega spell if I could.
Fuck yes.
If we're still not dead. We're not in a dead zone. Ash is going to stand in the bridge.
Actually,
look at.
I guess I should have asked. Did you have a mega spell as well, Evie? Oh, you had a.
I do have a couple, but it's okay.
Shit. Okay. I'm still getting used to
Pulse
ship.
cannon was cool.
I'm still getting used to ship combat as well. So, all right, cool. Go ahead.
I'm going to look at the one ship that's still there, and then fill kind of a 2,000-foot cube around that area, holding pretty much onto a small lump of rock. As I'm going to cast Asteroid Cluster as a 2nd level conjuration spell. And I knew you were going to try to do that too.
Boy!
Pretty much any ship or mega creature is slowed in the area. Every foot of movement costs 1 extra foot, so double the movement. And any ship inside the cluster that's larger than a size that did not take evasive maneuvers will take 2d8 mega bludgeoning damage at the beginning of its turn. And then, so I'm going to put it right, if there is about a 2,000-foot radius, like as much as of that space between the ship and our ship. without it touching our ship. And the other thing is, if an attack is made through the cluster, the target is treated as having half cover. So we would have half cover when they're shooting us through that.
Okay, so they do get caught in this asteroid swarm, just casual out of nowhere. As they begin, do they have to make a save while they're in it, or is it just they start their turn in it, they take the...
If they start their turn in it, they take the 2d8.
Okay. Okay, there's still a gunner's seat. If you wanted to do any gunnering there, Callie. Hard pass?
Hard pass.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll 2d8 as this Rothian ship is currently inside this meteor swarm. They would have had to make evasive maneuvers on their last turn, you said?
Yeah.
They did not.
On
They
their last
were
turn.
they were in they were going to they were in pursuit. So that's definitely not something they were doing. Oh my god.
So I'm like
I mean,
actively
that's
trying to
Callie's
move
maneuver right
the
there.
asteroids around.
She's gonna
With
settle down.
14 points of mega bludgeoning damage, the wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Oh. Are they squooshed?
They're still functioning.
What?
I have to remember what it is when you, because they have no shields. So trying to remember what the system failure is. Oh, that's right. I have to go all the way to the top. I wish I could.
System failure?
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
get
yeah.
that for you real quick.
Please do.
I scrolled a little too far up.
So
My bad.
189.
Okay, we're on destruction, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, when a ship is reduced to 0 hit points, it becomes a blazing wreck. All of its systems, including weapons, engines, and life support, cease to function, can't regain hit points. Escape craft, like fighters, life pods, and shuttles, can still eject from a blazing wreck. The ship is on a tipping point of complete disaster. It might soon explode outright, or otherwise become a derelict wreck. Explosion saving throws. If the ship is a blazing wreck at the end of the initiative order, one character, if the PC ship, this is going off the PC ships.
Yeah, I'm just making sure because I have.
So basically, they can make death saving throws, and if they fail 3 times, it.
Yeah, my thing is I have Esper Genesis, and I have a Starfinder ship combat in the brain, and all I was like, do they have ship system failure rules? And it doesn't sound like they do for NPC ships, unless they actually have systems. So I'm just gonna have to double read again. Yay!
Oh, NPC ships. Here we go.
What page?
It's on the same rule as destruction. So it's on page 182
Dunka.
of the PDF.
182.
Nope. Oh, most GMs have NPC ships immediately explode when reduced to 0 hit points.
Yep, here we go. Okay, I got it.
So I am assuming that's their ruling on NPC ships / enemy ships, is if they're immediately reduced to 0, we don't deal with the flaming wreck. It's just... boom.
So basically, unless it's an important ship or a party members on board, it's going to explode.
Yeah, and I think there's something involving targeting a system for damage.
Yeah, with precision strikes, you can target specific ship systems.
Yep. Okay. Cool. With that, then, The the Umbra, taking a heavy bludgeoning array of rock and stone, caught almost completely in the middle of this thing. It has reduced mobility to half its mobility.
Yes.
Alrighty. So that is, it's gonna use its full action to GTFO and disengage from this dogfight. As yeah, it's got a 180. It just freaking spins and books it. As it just flips round and dashes in the other direction. Full movement speed, getting out of there. Ship disengaging and losing contact with 1 mega hit point. That Rothian is struggling to get back to its mothership. As combat alerts begin to disengage, you all feeling rather safe and secure at this moment. How long do you guys wait at combat stations before?
Whisk is just having a good time, Pilot. So
Okay.
he'll stay there for a little while and then wait
Alright.
for Pendragon to say like, "Hey, you want me to take control again?" Or
Okay. As you guys stand there, you see up ahead of you, about 10,000 feet ahead, you see this haze encompassing quite a large swath of space, as wide as it is as it is long. This haze just seems to be spinning there, as if someone laid flour into a pool of water and stirred it around. There it is, the entrance to the Dead Magic Zone. Merlin makes his way up, staff in hand, Morgana on the other side. Oh, look at that! So lovely to see.
is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, at least I've got that one spell out of the way. For now. That's it, right? At least until this mission is over?
Well, Rothians can operate normally in Dead Magic Zones. So, hopefully, that last one dies.
I'm sorry, they can?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They are organic ships. You see why Pendragon said he didn't want you to go insane.
Well, if we didn't,
Well,
we'd
if
be getting thrown out by something.
if you don't go insane, all the better.
I think I'm still sane.
Well, who would like to hold their breath going into a Dead Magic Zone?
Is there a difference?
I don't know. It's something I heard you should try.
I do not breathe.
I'm interested to see what happens to you.
Right, let's just get this over with then.
Very good. Very good.
I'm going to hold my breath.
Okay. Skitter.
Skitter sees no reason to hold his breath.
Okay. Callie.
No.
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 All
That's
right.
dumb. That's a childish prank.
Oh. All right. Whisk takes a breath and holds. Alrighty. As you guys watch the ship list its way inside, the front end, you notice this cloud almost seeps through the ship as you watch Whisk, the first one to be enveloped by this cloud, as it slowly creeps towards you as the ship continues to enter. It reaches Ash, Callie, Skitter, Evie. And as it reaches Evie, all of you watch as she shuts down. And as the ship continues to push forward, you hear... And standing where once Merlin was is this rather young but well-groomed looking elven man in a rather nice outfit with two large horns protruding from his forehead and slicking backwards in a way. His hair a dark black, his beard full and trimmed, looks over and, well, that happened. Hello, everyone. Good to see you again. Lies.
So do you just put on the old man face?
I'm
Just
sorry,
for
but
shits and giggles? Like, is that how you get your kicks?
there's more pressing matters, though. Evie's shut down.
Yes, she is.
She'll be fine, won't she?
He
I could try to poke her and fix her with science.
as as Whisk just keeps telling Merlin, fix her. Morgana. Oh, dear, this is not my problem. This is yours. You said she would be fine. Yes. Okay. Merlin will walk over and start inspecting without touching Evie and just kind of looking over the body. Kind of... I don't see the reset button.
Ow!
I'm sorry, Merlin. What did you say? You would...
I can try to
Skitter,
poke her and
yes,
fix
fix
her with
her.
science.
Skitter. Fix her.
So,
You're dumb.
some Vect have reset buttons.
Evidently not this one.
She does not. No. No, this is troubling. This is troubling. At this point,
Can Skitter go over and start poking her and try to get her to
you
work with
can.
science?
Go ahead and make a technology check for me, Skitter, as
Yay.
you hop down.
Am good at. 16.
16. As you start muddling around, you notice everything about Evie as you start opening panels and start trying to find some type of power cell. You notice the panels have wiring. Her body is more humanoid in design. There's wiring, cords, coolant. You see synthetic muscle inside. You see all these things that make a Vect, and yet this one is beyond a normal Vect, which you've come to understand and accept, but this is the first time you've ever gotten to look into Evie's internals. And as you're doing this, Evie, you find yourself floating in pure darkness. As you look around, you see strains of code falling to one side to another. You hear voices, but you can't make out who they are. You feel your body move, and it moves effortlessly. It's almost like when you change shapes into a different machine. It's fluid, it's simple. Your body reacts even better. You hear subroutine activated. Soul ignited. Enjoy life. You begin to see one eye now, your perspective changing drastically from this tiny humanoid frame in an abyss to one large eye begins to, and you see your power on commands begin going. You see all your subroutines activating. Your other eye flickers open, and it continues to scroll as your systems come back online. You see as Merlin kind of like gives you a poke, you feel a finger dink. Ah, see? Look, her lights are on. I did it. As I always do. I do it all.
I'm finding that hard to believe, old man.
I find you hard to believe, halfling.
And so, how's poking around inside her going for me now?
You see things.
I imagine I'm about to get electrocuted.
You see things starting to light up. You actually see power coming to everything once again. You see the coolant fluid now actually expanding through more of the systems. And the synthetic muscle, which is usually designed to simply be an additional form of resistance in case of blaster or projectile or blade strikes, actually begins moving more like physical muscle underneath. As power begins to come through, you pull your tools out quickly, close the panel, and just step back. And as you do, the last thing you see as you come to consciousness, Evie, protocol, soul code, activated. And there are 5 missing subroutines that can be activated within this code that you see sitting there.
I'm gonna kind of walk up to her, look at her, and be like, "Everything all right, Evie?"
Hello.
Ah, she's fine.
There goes Whisk.
He's not fine.
He just passed
Whisk
out.
has fainted out of concern.
There goes Whisk.
See, Whisk, I saved her, and I am perfectly fine.
Oh my god.
I liked you better when you were a senile old man.
I can still be senile
Please note.
with this face.
No, it doesn't work. Now that I know you aren't senile, I just think you're being dumb.
Well, okay. So we have a bit of time, about 5 hours before we get to Earth. Is everyone happy? Everyone go lucky? Ooh.
Well, and then I'm going to try to cast a mage hand.
There is a
Just
lack.
trying to grab something.
There's a numbness in the back of your head. It feels like something's missing. Is out of
So I
place.
use my left hand to do that, but
You feel a weight.
remembering something. What about my right arm?
You feel a weight there. It's heavier than you expected. Much heavier. Your whole arm feels heavy.
So my packed weapon will just stay like this.
Well, Merlin comes over, grabs it, and pulls it off your stump. See? And, all right, here we go. Pops it back up.
I could still move it. Isn't... You mentioned that there wasn't any magic.
No magic.
Perhaps
The technology
some
still
other
works.
force?
The stars work in mysterious ways.
I mean, if your power comes from a star, there's one right there, and there, and there, and there, and they're all inside the dead magic zone, so...
I suppose so, but... Well,
Dampened,
at
but
least it's
not.
still combat ready.
That it would be. I take it no one here has any gnomish weaponry, so...
Skitter raises his hand.
You do not, my friend. Yeah.
We took away everything we got on
Oh.
all of our aura because it.
But the one I started with!
You're not a gnome anymore, my man.
God damn it. Dang.
So, does anyone have a steel blade on them?
I have a wrench.
That should work.
I also have a hammer. You can have either one.
Entirely for you, actually. The last I remember, Earth, they were still wearing medieval plate armor. And swords and axes and... Well, there were dragons and witches.
But it's very possible that it could have changed, yeah?
It's been 1,000-ish years.
So there's very good chance they've way moved on past that.
Couple hundred. I tend to forget, really.
Of course you do, you salty old carter.
What's up, Whisk?
I said a couple of hundred or a couple of 100,000 or...
No, not that long. No, and I left a rather prominent young man named Arthur Pendragon in charge of things in a country called England. So, well, he's a human, so without magic, he's probably dead.
Most likely.
That doesn't... Perhaps we see his grave.
That would be nice. It would be nice. Yes. I would like that. Morgana, wouldn't you like that? And she looks exactly the same. And although there is one difference, you do see that there are two translucent butterfly wings that shift between the spectrum of a rainbow.
So I do have a question about the two of you, Merlin, Morgana.
You see Morgana goes to snap her fingers. Oh, shit. I can't give you a cookie to shut you up.
No, it's not going to shut me up. It was very, very delicious, that's for sure, but...
Whisk is physically disappointed, like visibly disappointed that he cannot have a cookie, but
The
go ahead and
horns,
ask your questions.
the wings. Are they part of your true form then?
Why, we like you enough, so yes. 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 I am a very powerful devil,
Mm-hmm.
and Morgana here is a very powerful fae. And surprisingly enough, back in the day, I had no evil intentions. Zero. I still don't.
I was gonna say, like, if
I
your
may
friends.
have been born the son of a rather powerful devil and a human woman, but I am a nice, kind, loving individual. And I'm of the Fae. And, well, to be honest, we weren't really allowed to fraternize. The Celestials tended to frown upon it, and so we came up with this whole Knights of the Round Table and created a group of adventurers and noble heroes on Earth. And, well, we forged them a sword, thanks to the dwarves, called Excalibur. And then we enchanted it with a bit of Fey and devil magic. And that's Excalibur. And, just as things were at their height and prime, the orcs came along and decided that everything should be set on fire. So we left and took Excalibur with us because it would have been a shame for it to lose all of its magical properties. And we just had a secondary one made for Arthur, and, well, things fell as they fell. Ooh. Here we go.
I hate having to disconnect just so I can speak. Oh, so Whisk just nods and is like, well, if that is the case, I'm still confused as to why the orcs seem to be so very happy, but the the job does not really change because we have friends regardless. At least I think that we are friends. I would like to think that we are friends. I really do like your wings, by the way. But
Oh, thank you. I really like your fur and your ears, and I just want to scratch, but I don't. I would like to, though.
thank you.
Can I?
A long pause. um, Perhaps later, maybe
Oh, okay.
not right.
That would be nice.
Um,
Merlin just... We already have a cat. Yes, but this one
but I am
talks.
bigger. I am not a pet. I mean, sorry, but so if it has been such a long time since either of you have been to here because it would show your forms, I am assuming that is the reason that you did so long.
Yes, and to be honest, Earth developed quite a large number of religions. Christianity, Judaism, Islam. They still have some very paganistic religions. Um, However, in most of the religions, I would be a devil and would probably be subjected to water splashings and lots of prayer. And I like to avoid prayer. And I would probably have someone try to capture me in a small cage despite my size. I'm not sure how Fey lore has shifted on Earth since we've been gone. In fact, there's quite a possibility that you all might look to be aliens. Ooh, we should have picked an all-human party. Probably.
Well, now you're stuck with us.
I think we're perfect here. I think it's gonna be great.
Well, if anything, they'll confuse me for a human child, but I can't say the same for everyone else.
I should be relatively passable. He, on the other hand, or those two, and Evie, do we have any sort of disguises or clothes that could potentially...
The replicators should be able to replicate us a proper amount of clothing depending on what year it is. So,
Clothing, yes, but is there, depending on the year, is there any sort of disguises, or let's say there was some sort of communicable diseases that they were trying to prevent, and
face wraps, though
something like that.
I imagine, I imagine a mouse folk and a tabaxi. Ears and tails being scrunched up for a long time might be rather difficult, but it would be doable. And
Well,
we could simply wrap Evie with a lot of facial cloths and just keep her eyes and
I'm inclined to believe that having someone that looks like a mouse and someone looks like a cat move around, although may raise some sort of suspicion, might not be as frightening as having something entirely robotic.
This is true. They could be seen as gods. Ooh. That could prove useful.
How primitive are we thinking that they will be?
Well, I hope they're not still using swords.
Are we not bringing a sword to Earth?
Well, we are, but that's why it's a laser sword. Now, my hope is it's just not too advanced for their culture.
Why not a gun?
Well, I don't know if they have guns yet.
But so you went from sword to laser sword without thinking that gun would be a possible safe middle, just a safe middle.
How is a gun a safe middle ground?
Gun requires ammo, where a sword does not.
See?
But a laser sword? A laser sword. Merlin, do you understand the fallacies upon which
Question,
you
what's
set
powerful for that laser sword?
Say what, Skitter?
What powers that laser sword?
Technology.
Uh-huh. But
What
where
if
does
they
that
don't
technology
have
get its
that
power from?
technology?
Secrets.
Does it
Of
run on batteries?
wizard secrets,
It runs on batteries, doesn't it?
double A's.
So you... And how do you expect them to get new batteries if you're concerned about their technology level?
I'll make it solar.
What the hell?
Holy crap, Skinner!
By the way, my expression right now is not Ash's expression. My expression as a player.
Die.
Yep. This is happening right now.
This is.
Do you know how little power a solar panel that you could fit on that sword would generate?
Technology.
Oh my god.
Valid
Oh my
answer.
God.
I know how technology works, and I can
Mhm.
guarantee you that a solar panel that could fit on that sword would not make enough power.
Technology.
I'm still dumbfounded. I'm still dumbfounded at the fact that you think that laser sword, was a
see,
good equation.
it is
Ah,
a perfectly.
I'm gonna-
It is fine, but
It is
that
not,
the
Whisk.
reason. No, it is fine. Let me explain. Because the reason that we are going to put this sword, this stick inside of a rock, is so that the solar panel can just stay there and absorb all of the true light's light and then charge up the thing. And then when somebody eventually picks it up, it's going to take a long time. So you take that and then you pick it up, and then boom, you have a sword of light, and now you can slash and do the things that it needs to do. So I think it is perfectly fine.
that kind of would have been a much better option.
Limited.
And there's a safe middle ground.
I'm gonna
It
turn
has a sun.
and look at Morgana throughout this entire conversation.
She is doing her best to keep a straight face.
I think it's perfectly fine.
She is just a very 2 fingers right over the mouth.
Do you even have a solar panel to put on it?
Why not?
All right. Look, it is a mix of fiendish, devil tech.
So it's okay.
And fey tech.
It's still.
Aren't you both magical civilizations?
I wouldn't call devils and fey civilizations. I would call us people.
Same principle.
So
Magic.
doesn't your technology run on Maction?
Not all of it.
Action.
See, look. Here it is. And he just kind of, and the blade ignites outward, and you see this golden and red-hued energy blade erupt out from the hilt, and it kind of crackles slightly, and see, it dices, it slices, and it readies all your meals perfectly.
All right.
It
You know
just
what? That's
works.
fine.
It's fine.
There's no issue about that. I'm just, you know what? Fine. Screw it. But I swear, if we're still somewhere like that does not accept this technology, I'm going to throw sand in your face, and you're going to. I'm done.
Pendragon, bread. You hear as a loaf of bread is shot out from a replicator, and Merlin just picks it up. See?
It makes
Toast.
toast too. Oh my god.
I just give Morgana a look of like, how have you dealt with this? What the hell?
Whisk is thoroughly impressed by the light.
I
of
want to
this
point
thing and
out
the fact
that
it can make
only
toast.
half of that toast is cooked, the other half is uncooked.
Nope, both sides are cooked perfectly on this.
Does he?
It is split down the
Oh.
middle, so both slices. Yes, on the opposite side of the toast is untoasted, yes, but it has been sliced in half, therefore it is toasted.
You didn't think that through and realized it halfway through trying to say I was wrong.
Well, welcome to Legends of the Verse, where we actually discuss the actual,
The actually theologies of having toast being made.
Mm.
food.
Welcome
Yeah,
to
no, and food,
episode
and
one.
food.
This
Sword,
is just episode 1.
sword toast.
So
Toast. Technicalities of how to make toast with a sword, laser
I-
sword,
I
that's
swear
powered
to God,
by
I'm gonna
demon
look-
magic.
Demon magic. Demon and Fae. It has to be
Oh,
demon
no,
and Fae.
devil
And Fae.
Devil-
Devil.
Devil and Fey tech.
I give Morgana a look. Is there any? No.
Who the hell was that?
Someone
Skitter,
with a TV.
get your AI in check.
Angry logic.
I'm going to look to Morgana. Morgana, is there any possible way to tell what era Earth may be in
Well, we can land.
without landing?
Oh,
Do we have a telescope?
we don't have a telescope, but
Sensors.
sensors will
Kelly.
not tell us what era they're in. We would have to send you
What
down
they
as well.
could tell us is what's down there, and if we see cars and military forces of lasers,
They can, yes, but
then why don't we do that?
I suppose ruining surprises. Fine, Skitter.
If we are worried that they are not advanced technologically, wouldn't a spaceship coming from the sky terrify them?
Well, we could always shoot you down in an escape pod. We
How's that
still
any better?
have the escape pod we picked you up in.
This sounds like a terrible idea.
That sounds way worse.
One
Is there no
pod may be
cloaking
seen
device?
as an
Why don't we
asteroid
just scan it first?
We have a cloaking device. It only lasts for about 5 minutes, which would get you down on planet, and then we'd have to find a parking spot.
Can we not just look for a parking spot from orbit?
I suppose we could. If you really don't want to just go down and see what's out there.
I would like to know what the hell I'm
Terrible
going to.
Fine. We will sit here quietly for the next 4 hours then.
Sounds like a great plan. Let's go scan things.
As Whisk asks Pendragon for a cookie, one just gets shot out towards Whisk.
Is who's manning the ship right now? It's just Pendragon.
Just Whisk.
Oh, Whisk is there. Okay. I'm just gonna look at everybody and be like,
Skitter.
What?
Echo.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
no worries. And just be like, we should probably just land. Get it over with.
But why don't we scan first so we can see what's down there and find a landing spot?
Because surprises are fun, Skitter.
And dangerous.
More
is
like
our
it's
mission.
more like it takes time, and I really don't like being without my magic for too long.
At this point,
It's
Merlin
also gonna take time. We just go down there and don't know where to land at when they are.
Merlin begins stacking gold pieces up. You might need these. Gold is generally good everywhere. So he puts 4 gold bars onto... Actually, I'll give you 5. 1 for each of you. stacks it up. Each gold bar for each of you that you are given to by Merlin, when you get down onto Earth, will roughly equate to about $300.
All right.
That's a tiny gold bar. I'm
That
just
is
saying.
tiny.
Yeah,
That is
it is tiny.
cool. Ash, I understand slightly that being without your magic may make you jumpy, but if I walk into anywhere holding up, and I just hold up my bomb, throwing these around, and they're not technologically prepared for that, do you want to know how many sanctions I will get on my guild card if this gets out to my guild?
Oh,
Without even
I
checking
mean-
first?
I mean, they don't know about your guild or space law. I'm not sure if they're covered under space law.
I don't think they actually have any space travel if they're stuck in a dead magic zone. Let's be honest, I don't think anybody would like to be stuck in a dead magic zone. So if they're still there, there's
I
probably something
mean-
different.
Depending on whether or not Baxter would talk about it.
I'm just saying,
There's also
there's a lot of things at risk if we don't know what we're going into. So
We're going to know when we land.
Well, why don't we know before we land so we can choose where to land?
This entire
This is like
mission
talking
is
into
a risk, and
circles.
we are only talking about this now.
Because
We assumed we were going to be logical about it, and we're only now realizing that you don't want to be logical about it. Well, not you particularly, but everyone.
all right. Let's put it to a vote with hands like children. I'll get the balloons afterwards. Who would like to scan the planet first?
Hand is up.
Callie,
yes, I would like to scan.
Skitter, sees Whisk flying the ship. She's asking Pendragon if we can move faster. You all watch as the blast shields begin to lower, blocking you out from a void jump. And you watch as the calculations begin.
Wait, why are we void jumping?
Pendragon, Whisk asked if we could go faster, so this is the fastest route we have. I am an advanced AI. We will be fine.
Yeah, they all say that. They all say that, Pendragon.
Who would like to just land on the planet? 2 versus 2.
I'm just gonna be like, Whisk, what did you say your choice was?
Okay, Skitter.
Whisk wants
game
to get to the
plan.
planet.
Okay.
Okay.
Skitter, game plan.
Die.
Yeah.
All right. As time almost slows for a moment as the charge reaches 100%, everything pauses. You feel light and almost shapeless as the void engines blink for a moment. Everything slows down and we are there. Welcome to Mars. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. One moment, please.
No, 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 no.
Whisk, Earth is that away.
Oh, God. Just scan from here. Can't we, please, for the... Y'all are stupid. I hate every single one of you. Get out.
Scanning planet at the behest of the tiny child with grenades. As Pendragon begins scanning from a distance as they approach to Earth.
How long does the scan take, and how long does the approach take?
The approach takes about half an hour of time left as Whisk is coming alongside, and just kind of keeping a berth in case anything is flying outside. Which actually Whisk does pick up on sensors a small Amoeboid ship, though it seems desolate and void of life. It looks to be a transport of some form, just floating there above the planet.
We should probably check that ship too. Make sure all life forms are all checked and scanned and everything, right, Callie?
You know what, Ash? Just watch where you fucking step in battle next time, eh?
Right. Don't step too close to the sun, though. You might get scorched.
Stop fighting. Wait for the things that we down there to kill us. Don't kill each other.
With that, as you guys make the approach, it is an Isosceles class transport Amoeboid ship, triangular. And as you approach, lights are off and dead, but you do have an umbilicus to attach. As Whisk launches it outwards, it attaches and begins to and attaches right to their boarding ramp. As it draws it down and creates a vacuum-sealed, safe travel space. Or is everyone making their way down?
I would.
I would.
Okay. As you guys, Skitter and Callie, you guys heading as well?
Well, I guess we kinda have to.
I mean, we don't. We could just leave them there. We really
They're
could.
going-
We really could.
They're going down to the planet now, yeah. Or are they boarding them?
They're boarding that
the
Amoeboid ship.
Amoeboid Isosceles.
Oh yeah, no, they can deal with that themselves.
Okay. Callie?
I'm staying on the ship.
Okay. As you guys, Whisk, Ash, and Evie make your way over, the ship is quiet. And with the umbilicus attached, there is a breathable oxygen environment, at least for the time being. As you look through, you see all around goop piles, varying differences in colors. However, each of them seems to be missing the amoeboid core in the center of their what would be their heads. Their brains are missing. Maybe they dissolved with the bodies. It's rather hard to tell exactly. you see this as your first sight, the ship is 2 decks, upper, lower, and then a bridge, which is above the upper deck. You guys are currently on the lower deck. How would you like to proceed?
What type of gear do we have? Do we just get all pretty much like, is there any light throughout the ship?
There is light. It is it is faint light, but you do have light. If you would like, flashlights are available for you to use that you can attach to your armor riggings and have as chest lamps.
I'm gonna look at the other two and be like, well, shall we go up?
Evie is also lit up on her neck blue, so there's that.
Giving a faint 5-foot dim light. Okay. As
So
you
up we go.
Okay, as you guys start making your way through the ship, you notice that there is in this area a fighter bay on this ship, and you see a saucer class fighter craft sitting quietly, unattended to. After that, there is a small cargo hold and one armory on the lower deck. As you make your way up, you find the shield generator, sick bay, teleporters, probe and sensor stations, and life support. On the
But it's
bridge...
like
Go ahead.
completely abandoned so far.
It
Everything
seems...
that we've seen.
doesn't seem abandoned. You see many more of these goop piles all throughout the ship. Some are smaller than others. And the only room that has any real power to it seems to be the sick bay. As you walk up through the second level, the upper deck, and see more of the ship's systems tucked away in these corridors and rooms. You do see one living quarters, and they do have an arcane cannon attached to this ship. Do you make your way up to the bridge?
Can I check out what's in the sick bay?
Sure.
Yeah, I would follow too.
As you enter sick bay, the doors kind of melt open, much like an amoeboid changes their own shape, kind of like a thin membrane. As you step inside, you see a fully furnished sick bay, and sitting on a counter inside of a stasis field is this small bluish green cylinder, maybe about yay big in size, sealed, about 6 inches tall, sealed and secured. That's the only thing that stands out, other than their medical equipment.
Would I know what that is?
Make a medicine check.
$17?
17. Very interesting. It is amoeboid in nature. You know this much. These containers, you've never seen, you've only heard of. And it kind of brings some clarity to those speculative rumors that amoeboids grow in vats and aren't particularly born. You're not sure how old this could be, if it is that. Or maybe it's just some type of amoeboid food? But there is at least one rumor that you've heard of that amoeboids are grown in vats. The cylinder is not attached to anything whisk. It is just floating in this stasis field. Kind of like a can of tuna.
Can I search for medical supplies?
Easy enough. What are you looking for in general?
Just things to help keep my friends alive. So if there's any bandages or syringes or anything like that.
That's easy enough. You've been in enough sick bays to find where you're at. You find enough material to create one healer's kit, effectively, or medical kit, with its full 10 uses.
Can I go search the armory?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Heading into the armory, you do find some Amoeboid acid launchers.
Okay. All right then.
They're an interesting little toy. They have the same stats as the Blitz cannon.
Okay.
However, they do acid damage, and they kind of launch it in this globule. So it is a 2d8 acid damage at a minimum range of 10 feet, maximum range of 30 feet. It is heavy, and it also deals a scatter of 2d10 acid damage.
How many of those blitz cannons? I mean, the acid guns do we have?
You have
They have
4 that you find. There's also 2 swarm pistols inside. And there is also a crystalline rod in there as well.
Ooh. I'm looking at the crystalline rod. I don't know if anybody's with me at the time, but
I feel like we would all kind of go as a group.
yeah, I think we would come and go as a group too. I'd probably pass it over to Whisk and be like, "You think you could do anything with this?"
As you go and grab it, you notice the crystalline rod is a Rothian weapon. It's a 2-foot long rod composed of this beautiful exotic crystal, which at this moment, surprisingly enough, in a dead magic zone, still holds this field of this underlying field that just pulls everything around it. As you move it around to pass it over to Whisk, you feel this resistance in its movement, as if the rod itself is anchored to something else. And as you kind of move it over, there's just this little wave of force that kind of escapes the crystalline staff for a moment, or the crystalline rod.
And at that point, I'm going to hand one of the acid guns to Evie and be like, "Since we're not able to, well, yeah, it is a stick that you could hit someone with, Whisk, and that's what I thought. You'd be able to use it better than any of us. But since we are without our magics, you should probably hold on to this, Evie, if you could carry it." And I'm going to give her one of the acid guns.
Okay.
I kind of weigh it one to myself and kind of think back, um, it is a heavy weapon, so both
is.
Callie and Skitter would have disadvantage or something like that, right? It's still because it's a heavy weapon.
Yep. Callie's proficient with
Then-
her blitz cannon, but not something like this. Do you
Okay.
do you attempt to test fire it?
I mean, I would check if there's anything there, if it's working or something.
The acid is there. It doesn't seem to have its firing mechanisms working, but in a non-magic zone or in a magic filled zone, you feel like these would work fairly well.
I don't have that much proficiency in like technology or anything. I'll just ask Evie. Do you think either you or Skitter later would you be able to try to rewire some sort of electronic system that lets it fire?
We could always try.
I think it would be useful. It's probably better than anything that we have on the ship so far.
The
Less
lack
evidence,
of
too.
magic is disconcerting.
Yes, yes, it is. We just need to be careful at all times.
Affirmative.
And then I would say, let's check the bridge. We haven't checked that yet.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna
you
head to the bridge.
make your way up to the bridge. Here you see the bridge has been damaged. There are acid scorch marks. You see residue of what appears to be some type of psychic energies having impacted against the systems of the ship. Um, it's a little unnerving. Just exactly what could have caused damage like this?
So going back to it, would I know what that crystalline rod is, Rothian?
You would know, yep.
And we've come across Rothians before, right?
You have.
The first thought that I would have is they were attacked either by the Rothian ship that left that was able to escape from us, or there is another Rothian presence around. And if that's the case, then Earth is not the threat that we need to make sure to look out after. Remember, Pendragon did mention that those ships and their technology function, as we can see, and then I kind of point at the crystalline rod. So, if there is nothing else, we should probably head back to the party. However cautious they may be, they still need to know that, well, they need to know all the dangers that we have to face, regardless of whether it's just Earth.
Is there any kind of electronics or anything we can scavenge for Skitter?
Um, Go ahead and make a technology check. So it'll be your intelligence modifier. Unfortunately, a druid is not proficient in technology.
Actually,
Or-
I have the feat for Vect, so I was able to choose technology.
Kick ass. Rockin'.
Oh,
Alright, so
also, I would have had an idea and have asked Evie afterwards if she was checking for tech.
Okay.
I just had to squint really hard to read my character sheet.
And what I've been noticing, the like whisk, kind of weighting the rod a little bit.
5.
Yeah. None of the tech looks any good whatsoever for you to pull off. It all looks as if it's been rotted away by some type of necrotic energy. It just seems like it's decayed and patinaed and rusted. And a ship like this should not have that happen to it. So
So and then while she's checking everything, and she's like, I'd be like, okay, well, how's about this? We couldn't take all the cannons. Could we possibly disassemble them and take the acid? Maybe Callie could make some bombs with them. And kind of look to Evie and be like, is there any way you could do that? I don't think we're going to be able to carry all 4.
make a tech check, Evie. As you look over these acid launchers.
11.
11? Okay. You would have to scrap the entire frame, but there are in each of these launchers 3 bulbs inside of them, one to the rear, one in the center, and one near the front, all filled with acid, and you see the tube connections. It looks like you could remove them safely if you had a work table to do so. And it does seem like something Callie could harness, and with the help of the workbench, you could fuse, you could cut and fuse the glass ends, and you would have these rather fragile but exceptionally potent acid grenades that Callie could use and could possibly enhance even further with her alchemical training.
Okay. Is there a
If-
workbench nearby?
Not on the Amoeboid ship, but back on the Shogun that you've been traveling on. Yes.
Have we checked pretty much most of the ship? Like, kind of walking around, is there any hostile, like, forces or anything? We probably would have been attacked by now,
You
right?
probably would have, yeah. You feel pretty safe.
What about the
As-
fighter ship?
Let's make sure that there's nothing on the fighter ship, and probably we'll make a couple of trips and get as
Could
much as we
not
can from
put
here.
them on the fighter ship and have the fighter ship join our?
Would we need another ship? Let's check out the ship anyways. That is a good idea. And then we go check
Okay.
the saucer.
All right. As you open up the hangar bay, you feel this unending sense of dread. This beat within your chest that just you feel agony, you feel pain, you feel 10 different voices crying out, and even you feel this, Evie. This new sensation, this discomfort. As you look around, you see this reddish purple membrane lining the walls that stretch out and seem to actually keep perfectly out of view of the main view screen into the hangar bay as you look around. And as you look up into the area, you see these jars hanging from the ceiling, connected by these membranes, pulsing every so often. You see these small gray and black metallic bulbs floating within, spinning around. You don't see anything in here. Nothing moves yet.
This feeling is disconcerting. I don't know if I can continue. I'm gonna try to walk back into a place where that influence isn't anywhere near me.
Walking out back outside.
Yeah.
Okay, as you step out, the feeling escapes, and you feel like you can breathe again clearly, cleanly. Evie and Whisk, inside you both hear coming from inside the saucer. You're muted, I can't hear you.
I didn't say anything. I was thinking about what I wanted to say.
Whisk, you see, takes a few steps forward.
I do not like this place. Is it the brains that are there?
Seems to be.
Hey,
Okay.
Hey.
so Whisk takes a few steps forward.
As you do, you hear the sound of metal dragging as you take a few steps forward, Whisk.
I don't think we should be here, Whisk.
It's not like if it's not
I'm-
just the ship.
I'm gonna be. I'm outside and I don't see them. I'm just gonna kind of turn around and try to shout in their direction. We're not even at full strength, and we're not at full party. You should come back. We don't know what that is, but we could keep it locked.
But it sounds hurt.
Then come out of it. It feels much better here. Whisk.
Whisk's mindset is just like he wants to help it, but he's just not really sure what it is. It sounds in pain. It sounds hurt. Does not do. He looks back at the EV. It's just like, do we go back or?
Let us get our things to the ship.
Fine. So I guess I try to go back out.
You
and if
reluct-
something stops me. Something.
You reluctantly head back.
Turn around.
You hear,
Yes.
as you walk away, as something seems to make its way there. But you get out, and as you step out, the feeling leaving your lungs, leaving your breath, everything feels normal, and the door shuts behind you. You no longer hear a sound. You no longer hear clanging of metal.
I'm going to go grab one of the acid cannons, and seeing that there's 2 left, gonna walk back over to the umbilical and get back onto our ship.
Okay. Is Ash leaving?
Swear.
Did you guys try and take
Nice.
the tuna can in stasis?
Whisk.
Yes, I tried to take the possible Amoeboid babies.
Okay. As you try to put your hand through the stasis chamber, you get shocked back, Whisk, and
Oh,
then you try and grab the top half and the bottom half of the stasis, and it detaches, and you're able to hold it kind of like this as you make your way back towards the ship.
okay.
As you guys make your way back to the Shogun, the umbilicus retracted.
Oh,
So-
not yet though. We might go back for the other stuff, so that's why.
Oh, I thought you went and grabbed everything.
Can we carry all of it
Can-
at once?
You can.
Can we?
Yeah, it
then
slows you
we can
down,
carry
but
all
you
of it.
can carry it all off.
Okay.
Combat wise, it would be heavy, but you can carry it all off at once.
Oh yeah, no, I have 16 strength. No, I carry all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Forgot.
As you guys make your way back onto the ship.
I'm just gonna. I have 3 cannons walking up to Kelly, and I'll be like, Kelly, where's your workbench? You
Don't
might be
have
able to
one.
use this. There's no workbench on this ship either.
I didn't claim it, so it's not mine. It's the workbench, but
We're going to have to work on those technicalities soon. Really.
I didn't claim
And
it.
then
It's
Ash
not
just kind
mine.
of turns to Morgana and be like, "Is there a workbench on here?"
Yes, there's several.
Okay. Well, since we're going to do this mission and work on the ship, can Callie possibly claim one of those workbenches for her?
Of course,
so that
this
she
is
could
going
make
to be
really-
this is going to be your ship when this job is done,
Excellent.
provided you're all
That's
alive.
great. Well, I will definitely try to keep everybody alive, and I would hope that everybody would try to keep everybody else alive. So,
I make no promises.
Callie,
Like
feel
none.
free to go claim a bench.
Fine. Skitter, how's that scanner looking?
I don't know how it looks.
So the side of the planet you're on is a continent called America. And there is on the east coast a fair amount of settlements. Some major cities and some major population centers. There's some very nice open plains in the center of the country, above, kind of on a borderline space that only has a few sparse towns and cities, maybe within 100 miles of each other. Some within 50 to 30 miles of each other. But it looks to be the most least populated area out that way, with plenty of mountain ranges, hills, grasslands.
I see a place with people.
Are you looking for a place with people?
No, I'm telling that to Rainy. Rainy, Callie. I see a place with people. How many people do we want?
Okay, place with people. That's fine. I don't know what they want, but like
He's gonna turn to Merlin and Morgana.
technology. Come on.
Merlin and Morgana, he's gonna turn to them.
Oh,
How many people do you want around?
oh, we'll go someplace rather isolated. I
But still
think
of
that would
people,
be-
you said?
Yeah. Let's
Okay,
go
there's
somewhere
I found
that
a place.
way.
Can I choose a place with the people where it's less populated, but there's still some
Oh,
near a lake?
of course. Look, there's a lake. Oh, I don't know what it's called. Actually, it doesn't have a name. What a shame. Maybe we'll name it.
Yeah, so
At this point, I'll be like, Hey, Callie, you're like making grenades. Are you able to use any of this acid too? Is that going to help your arsenal at all?
You're asking me to do. Do I actually get to look at the weapon
Yeah.
Ash has now?
Yeah, it'd be pretty easy. It'd be pretty easy for you to remove the housings and turn these uh, into workable grenades that you could actually empower and cause, instead of just single target, you could have it actually cause a nice splash damage and deal some substantial damage. You wouldn't have a lot of them, but you'd have some. You'd have that classic alchemist look.
I'm not gonna ask where you found those. I really don't want to know where you found those. I
On
can
the ship,
yet.
you did
Know
not
where
want
you
to board.
found that. You know where we found those. On the ship that you didn't board with us.
Yes! That's why I didn't want to board it. Anyways, I can, yes, make those work. There'll be limited charges.
Hold on, sorry. I really want to make sure, Callie. Why didn't you want to board it with us? As a group, aren't we just trying to discover something and trying to get as much power as possible, or some combat power as possible, so that we have the arsenal to go on to Earth, complete this mission without anybody dying, getting the ship, and heading back home? Is that not all sound plausible to you?
It does sound plausible, Ash, but you know,
So
Rothians are a thing. A very scary thing. A thing that, oh, could very well, can't just, get all of us in one fine spell swoop. That,
we never said anything about Rothians in there. It's an Amoeboid ship.
no, but there are Rothians in the area. I like to jump to conclusions sometimes.
We destroyed one Rothian ship. Another one escaped from us.
Oh,
True. We've
know.
encountered Rothians before.
Yeah.
And what helped? What helped us? But all of us together combating them. You can't run away from the Rothians forever. And we have friends
I
here.
can. Watch me.
Well, you're going to be very, very lonely then. If everybody else is here, willing to defend each other against them. We did so well every other time.
Ash, if you could just sit, what? No, I'm not doing this. I'm not getting into this. This is like Melinda's level of bullshit, and I'm not going for it. So, if you're really that concerned about why I didn't want to go onto the ship, it's
I'm not
because
concerned about why you didn't go on this ship. Really, I'm not. I just want you to know that if we're going to finish this all alive, we need to stick together. And we need to find out as much as we can, especially when there is something that's something like an Amoeboid ship in a place that's not supposed to have magic. It doesn't matter if we scan the planet or not. I know I feel uneasy about having to wait for it. And that's my own fault. Understandable. But if we stick together, no matter what unknowns that we face together, at least we have each other's backs. Would that make sense?
that does make sense, Ash. It does. It really does. But
I'm going to leave the
honestly,
acid
though,
cannon on your workbench. But honestly, what?
the next time we come to a decision about something and this discussion happens again, don't be so gung-ho to be like, oh, let's go jump onto the planet we know jack shit about. You're gonna tout
Wow.
this rhetoric.
What rhetoric? The fact that every single one of us just needs to stay together? There's going to be unknowns regardless of whether or not you spend your entire lifetime scanning something. You scan the information, great, you know exactly what time era is. Do you know the people that are in there? Do you know the actual things that are happening out on the cosmic level that are on Earth? You don't know any of that. You're going to scan your entire life trying to figure out everything before you do anything? Before you actually act upon anything? Is
You're
that something that you want to do?
Skinner is just gonna intercede in this conversation. You're acting as if, like, we have a lifespan of 2 months. Taking 5 minutes to stop and check what you're going to do before you jump into a dangerous situation is not a bad idea. If we're jumping into the unknown, so we want to take 5 minutes to stop and scan something. It's not a bad thing. Are we
I'm
going
not
to
saying
stop? You're
I'm not
acting as if
saying
we're
we're
going to
going to
stop
say
behind it. No, let me finish my point.
okay.
You're acting as if we're going to, every time we're about to open a door, we're going to be like, no, let's set up an immense scan rate to scan that door. We're not going to do that. We're going onto a planet we've never been onto, that we have no idea what we're going to encounter there. We're going to take 5 fucking minutes to get a general idea of what we're getting into.
It takes 4 hours. And I told you, I told her that I'm uneasy, especially because we're in this dead magic zone. And I know how it sounds, but you heard what they said. You don't know that last they've been on the planet. They had swords. They had metal armor. And it's been, what, several hundred years? Have you seen any civilization actually go through technological booms
Have you?
in a few hundred years?
It's like, in a few hundred years, they could very well have they could have gunpowder, they could have energy weapons. I don't know. Some races develop faster than others. I don't know.
As you say that, Merlin comes in with Whisk and, look, we're parents! It's an Amoeboid, baby. It's fantastic.
So that's what it is.
Yes,
Great.
now we just have to figure out how to open it. I tried shaking it, but it doesn't seem to come loose.
Shaking,
isn't the best
shaking,
option.
shaking babies is usually a bad.
Oh, it's an Amoeboid. They shake all the time.
Ah. Okay then.
Anyways, the cannons are going to be on the workbench. We should probably get going after you finish your scan or whatnot. And Ash is just going to walk away.
All right. As you do, the scan finishes. You pick up humanoids, only humans, on this planet. There are lions, bears, cougars, wolves, coyotes, small marsupials, small mammals, fish, egg-laying avians, and the like. Nothing stands out, nothing spectacular. The most inventive thing they seem to have is a train that runs off of minerals. Appears to be coal. As the scan finishes, Pendragon rolls in for landing. As he does, it's about 10 o'clock in the evening. The ship comes in quiet. and sails over this vast, open prairie. It's beautiful and kind of breathtaking as you look and see the clear night sky, the moon full as the cameras get the full external of the area. You see these massive hills, you see these large cow-like creatures moving across across the open terrain. You see cliff sides. You see small patches of trees and small forests here and there. And as the ship comes down about 30 miles outside of the largest city in the area, go ahead, one of you, roll me a D100. And I want you to pick left side or right side, 50 or lower, 51 and higher.
I can roll it if somebody else wants.
Alrighty.
Okay, so 50% right, 50 or higher, 51 or higher right, 50 or lower left.
Okay. Just barely.
Right, because
All right. As the ship comes down, it lands just outside of a small lake and in between a forest along the edge. There is a mountainside at its back on the opposite side, maybe about a mile and a half away. And you can see the lights of this city as you come down, and they fade down over the horizon as you land. As the ship touches down, wildlife scattering everywhere, the water being blown back. You look at the terrain. The air is breathable. The temperature is a little chilly at about 59 degrees. Estimated to drop down to about 50. It is beautiful. No civilization, no spacefarers have touched this land. It's pristine.
Anything else you saw in that scan?
There are small groups that roam the lands from place to place. Some type of tribal units.
Were we able to check what their languages are? If we're able to communicate with them?
One of these people speak English. It is a derivative of Common. Some words might sound different and have different meanings. The others speak myriads of tribal languages. A language called Chinese. And a language called Spanish. In this area.
Or are you set, or are we all ready then?
I suppose, but hey, Merlin.
Yes.
Think you might want to rethink Excalibur's design just a hair. Because when I checked in with Skitter, the most advanced they had was a train that ran on a mineral coal. So,
Heating power.
doesn't sound like energy weapons.
I think this would be perfect. But I will take your consideration.
Just a hair. Maybe not.
He reaches up and dink.
Before anything,
For you. If you'd like, we could sleep until the morning, and you all could head out.
Does the
I
ship
just
have
wanted to
cloaking?
make sure.
Not a long-term cloaking.
Okay.
So when will we know if we found the place that we need to put it?
I get the feeling in this place, when Morgana and I were here, America was an untapped, vast land of magical beauty. There was a group of elves that lived out this way. Excellent archers and stealth guerrilla combat fighters. Mostly wood elves dominated these lands. I'm not sure if they might still exist. I imagine there has been some devolution. Even dragons would have become dumb, inherent beasts over centuries, without magic to sustain their intelligence. I'm not sure what you're going to find out there. Though, if they've only got as far as a train, I would imagine a projectile weapon will still work just fine.
So we don't need any of our blasters. Can Pendragon actually create just regular guns for us?
Pendragon, can you make a gun of this time? I've not seen one yet. If I see one, I can replicate it. If they have guns, it can be replicated.
So that means that whatever encounter that we first have to deal with, we have to either make sure that we don't come into any sort of combat, or that anybody that is within the combat do not see what we have.
Callie just built up one of her bombs.
Are you okay with it now? With your guild and everything?
Personally, if it's the only thing we've got, and you know what, I'll just file in. We did the scan. I just gotta file it in later. That's it. That's all we needed was a scan, and I'm fine.
If you at least give me a week of time, I could develop you a blaster. That would work here, but I would need a week of time.
You know, they
just need to
probably
make
have
it easy.
they probably have like stores for their guns, and we have gold. So if we just disguise ourselves and went to the stores and bought a gun and brought it back, there we.
Ugh. I'm gonna have to dye this.
Are you already able to create suitable clothes for us then?
Pendragon. Yes, Merlin, I can replicate the clothing of the time period. I would suggest Master Whisk Master Skitter and Mistress Evie to wear some hooded clothing, things that they could hide their faces with, and Master Whisk and Master Skitter should do their best to cover their faces with some type of wrapping or mask.
I look at Evie's robotic face and be like, but Evie as well, though.
I can actually produce false skin for Evie.
Perfect.
Although the lips might move weird.
I'm sure they won't notice. If they couldn't come up with anything other than just a train.
Now, let's not sell them short. They managed to get to a train.
If you all give me an evening, these are the common outfits that the people wear. And there is just a myriad of different types of dresses that are these large, poofy dresses, some more tame and reserved down. You see men who wear more pants, collared shirts, suspenders of varying colors, these large brimmed hats, some with more of kind of bowing in the center, some flat topped and round. You see they have long duster-like coats. Some wear vests, some dress finely in some rather interesting suit wear. The clothing varies, and you even notice that some women don't wear the same thing as other women. Some are more rugged like the men in what they wear.
Ash kind of looks at all the dresses and be like, Pendragon, do all the human women wear these outdoors and not just at parties or anything?
Some of them seem to walk around in these dresses when going from place to place. This would be considered finer wear, I believe.
That seems very impractical to move in for
Hmm.
to be wary of combat and whatnot.
Perhaps they don't have fights on the streets randomly and have some measure of civilization. Perhaps they aren't a lawless society where fights break out anytime two people.
They could also just push the women and children to the back, and the men are sent to fight. I remember hearing about that as an antiquated ideal long ago.
Well, regardless, it's
Pendragon.
not going to help any of us.
I'm probably sure I'm gonna have to color my hair and hide it, aren't I?
I will produce a wig of a color that you feel appropriate. The common colors here are blonde, black, brown.
That's a short list.
Go for brown hair.
It is a very short list. Brown wig, it is.
Yes. And Callie's going to actually choose out a dress more suited for a female child of the time.
So a bit of a flowy kind of sundress, something easy to move in. Little kind of puffy, but a little loose in the shoulders and long sleeves. Easy enough. The rest of you, as you decide what you wish to wear, do you wish to give Pendragon the evening and take a long rest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Merlin and Morgana, as you all rest quietly, make their way off the ship to look out and see Earth once again, a place that they once called home. those of you who have shorter sleep cycles, notice they don't come in until about daybreak. A few hours after they do, the sun coming to a full rise as you all begin to dress yourselves in the time's clothing. Sensors pick up a small band of individuals moving through the woods rather stealthily, but luckily your scanners do pick them up. You detect 6 individuals, all male, and they stop at the edge of the forest line. You look out and you can't see them. They're hidden exceptionally well behind the trees. But your scanners pick exactly which trees they're at. But without your scanners, you get the feeling you might be dead if they chose to attack. Do you head down the on-ramp, or do you stay in a relative form of... The ship is not hidden, per se. There's not a long-lasting cloaking device that the ship can have. Without magic, there's no way to disguise it as a large rock.
Ash chose a brown, like kind of more look with a brown duster, because she already wears a kind of like white gold inlaid trench coat or duster anyways. So she takes a brown duster and she's like, well, we should probably get rid of them if they saw our ship. Or at least make them forget. One way or another.
Well, considering magic doesn't work, we can't do a mass forget me spell, whatever you magic types do. I mean, I could easily, but that's gonna cause more attention because of course fire.
Like Whisk
Out of the
said,
blue.
we could just knock them out. Or try to.
Oh, I have a bomb for that. It's gonna give him a good couple cracks in the skull. Give him a nasty headache in the morning, but it works.
And if they have what we need, as in the design of the guns, we'll be better equipped later.
Of course.
Anybody else have any ideas? Or should we welcome them?
Either
Skitter,
way,
Evie?
we will have to meet them, will we not?
I don't know. If you wanna, since we can't use magic to make them forget, I don't know, just spell. Then the only way to keep them from would be to kill them, and I don't think anyone here wants to do that.
Skitter, I just offered to throw one of my non-lethal bombs. It's gonna be rubber pellets everywhere. It's gonna give them a hell of a headache, but they're knocked out and they're not dead.
How far
And
away are
what
they
do we
now?
do if them once they wake up?
They are 75 feet away from where the ship's on-ramp will drop out.
So they could probably see the ship already.
Yep.
We'll get to that bridge when we have to get there. Let's first get them handled or welcomed. What we do after is what we do after.
Okay.
Let's go.
So you guys make your way down, out, the warm sun hitting you. The clothes, you realize, are comfortable, but the weather is rather hot. But it is nice. The sun is warm, the air is crisp and clean. And as you all come down step by step,
Skater's gonna stay on the ship.
okay, all but Skitter staying on the ship. Or all but Skitter heading down off the ship. That is where we're going to end tonight's session. And where we will pick up next week. And continue this story of Excalibur, or potentially Excaligun now?
Excaligun.
Excaligun?
The actual golden gun.
Yeah.
Excalibur.
Thank you all so much for watching. It has been a pleasure and a privilege, and I'm really excited to see more of this story unfold. We have a really great crew here. We're going to have a fantastic special guest tomorrow, next week, that I'm excited to have and is excited to come and play. So with that, everyone, we will see you all next week. Have a great rest of the day. And is it Sunday yet? Bye-bye now.